I just went live on the parent location just to discuss the key topics of conversation and try to your questions as we stay in the space here. Um, Quality time, open line communication, lifestyle, and some topics to get to really quickly. And we don't need to make drop. We kind of have to reference those because we're concerned to support the integrity of the short term, long term, despite whatever maturation has or hasn't been. And that's the issue with covert overt operations for illustration or obstruction to the truth for whatever motive. And that's the challenge associated with verifying that the royal courts and court systems, legislature and government agencies what exactly was going on during certain dates of international world history. As far as cause and effect and psychology and neurology and how psychology and neurology are different, and nature and nurture, the intrinsic idiopathic process, and then some vocabulary words that are like oversimplification, that are a deviation from values as well as their intrinsic hierarchy, like the way that people move organically, their aptitude, despite their environment. That's why neurology is separate from psychology, because some people grow at different rates, and that's different than learning differently. And so the assessment tools, that's why we look to neurology and psychology for that information. And then when people, we talk about covert, overt, and that success lives at home, and then some other key vocabulary words be like culture or tradition, family traditions, and then a category of conversation as capacity for conversation, influencing factors. So we have a few men in the family that chose to forego commitment with certain women for various reasons. And some of those reasons have been for convenient physical intimate relationships. That is not me and my husband. And we're not saying that to be disrespectful. We have to allow for space. We've talked about gender identity and sexual orientation to remain progressive and supportive of what we didn't experience firsthand, and that when people make a choice to get honest in a different way where they didn't realize that they were being skewed, if that, or led astray, if that's the right way to say that. But at the same time, that's really tough for people that value marriage and commitment, monogamy, and exclusivity. It's very tough to realize that what's supposed to be a vow of marriage and commitment is what led the partner away. And so some people, we talk about courtship, so we support courtship, and fundamentally as far as realizing the reality of what's happened in Carolyn as part of the topic of conversation. We don't think that she meant to irresponsibly like have children. Some people will try to bash her and shame her and say people that have children should have a plan for children. But so this is a lot to process as far as fundamentals for how we perceive risk, right? But Yemi and Fletch are kind of, they were kind of put in these interesting situations that we hope to support, and then they have to realize what's happened to the women and those women before they met them were kind of damned, right? And this just is a really tough situation. Me and my husband, I always try to check in with my husband on the next topic that's relevant to me and my husband. I'm always trying to check in with my husband no matter what's happened and maintain open lines of communication. We haven't been able to spend quality time together, but I really make a conscious effort to promote staying connected and in communication with him in the ways that I'm able to. And I would never deviate from that. But that doesn't mean that I'm impaired or that I'm defective or that I'm deficient. We're married. So, I mean, slander and defamation are that, like, that's almost somehow saying, that's almost somehow implying that this hasn't been as bad as this has really been. The violence that's been imposed upon me and like where me and my husband are at with our stage of family planning and our relationship is, we say this with the utmost respect in the stage of family planning, that intrinsically, biologically, associated with humanity, the science of humanity, we are married, and for family of any stage of gestation to flourish, our marriage is always first. And so they rely on that, and we've not utilized not being able to sustain hygiene, but we stay responsible for ourselves. Sometimes situations happen in life, and so we stay positive, but we can't look past how bad this is. So people have tried to restrict me from food, from soap, any infection control, and they've tried to stop me from being able to wash with antibacterial soap. Right? Our hair, right? Everything. So I mean, this is bad. This is grotesque. This is gruesome. This has been violent. This has been grotesque. This has been gruesome. This has been barbaric. This was premeditated. This was with the intent to harm. There's no way around how bad this is. As far as the psychology of what the perpetrators were trying to accomplish by putting black hair, dark brown black hair, there's a plethora of rationale for why they did that. Me and my husband don't support that. We will not compromise the integrity of our marriage and our connectedness. And so we discussed this before. I'll always confer and confide and consult with my husband. And I need his explicit consent for everything. So I wouldn't do modeling, right? But I've tried to create the oversimplification. We're married, so we're a couple, a married couple, and we have a family. And in the ways that we're saying that the family relies on our marriage to flourish, that's where we've sustained. But we don't want this, we've not justified this, we've not rationalized this, we're not excused, we're not consenting. So there's no innuendo, and this is like gruesomely grotesque and violent because people try to use hair as a fallacy of a really grotesque inhibitory idiopathic process that I can't cancel out. I've devoted my will to my husband. So even having to get to a consensus of, well, I have to maintain the narrative, this is helpful in the long run for me and my husband and our family. There's a lot that we won't be able to forgive. That may be true for a lot of people once they learn what's really been going on. Even that they aired a fake interview with basically a fake person. How does that happen? The commissioner of the police, basically, what they showed to be the commissioner didn't exist. How does that happen? And then you try to add insult to injury. We decide you didn't follow up with me. I never heard from you. They're admitting, we've said this before, these perpetrators indict themselves all the time. How is this happening? Well, hopefully we've gotten more fact-based information as far as the logistics and coordination of the orchestration of the white-collar, blue-collar crime and the covert interventions that have been implemented to obstruct the truth, to mislead and blatantly lie to people. That's not supporting constitutional rights. And people that work as law personnel for government agencies are to have not just a code of conduct, they're mandated. The best way to say this is they have a license or certification. If they don't follow whatever the regulatory process is, that's to be in accordance. Like their mission statement isn't just for an entity, it's the Constitution. So sometimes people experience fatigue and exhaustion, and that's a topic for many different conversations, privately, professionally. So me and my husband are always in accordance. There's a syncrecy. I'm not saying the word correctly, the pronunciation. We have to maintain alignment. That's the best way to say that. So there's no compartmentalization. There's no on-off switch of, okay, this is my life here, and then this is my life there, and this is my life. So wherever I go, there's a standard of consistency, authenticity that has to exist, and people have to rely on that. So as far as our work-life balance, our relationship is always first, and that's how we sustain. So I have not been able to have a direct conversation in the way that me and my husband would prefer to have a direct conversation. We've not been able to spend quality time together in the ways that we spend quality time together. As far as our life and what, I don't know if you want me to say this way, but as far as an analogy for like open door policy and how our family and how we're setting boundaries with our family, or how our family is setting boundaries with us. I don't know if that's the right way to say that. How us and our family are setting boundaries with strangers as we navigate a crisis situation, and how our responsibilities and obligations to what we own are different, and how we're sustaining accessibility round the clock for the short term and long term won't change through crisis management. So we've worked very diligently and consistently and remain committed to our fundamental values and principles that support our marriage to ensure that our family can with ease have accessibility to us and understand when we're fatigued, but that's so that everyone avoids burnout, right? Because there's no on-off switch to I show up for my family or I don't show up for my family. That's the best way to say that. No matter how upsetting the reality of what got us to be here is. So I don't know exactly how my husband is coping, but I've definitely, as his wife, tried to work towards the visibility of I'm still here, I'm still committed. I can't see myself